Hey, this is Jared of Cynautical. My podcast is on alternative health and wellness. I also touch on biohacking and a few other topics as well. My podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, also on my YouTube as well too. Check it out, and I'll see you there.
In this episode, I speak with football coach Lyndon Hepner for a third time to see what he's been up to since we last spoke and to talk about his current goals. Lynn strongly represents a strive for lifelong fitness in the face of life's many challenges. Through this interview, I hope listeners gain a perspective on how to see the pursuit of fitness as a stable, healthy constant to adopt or to stick to in life. You can follow Lyndon on Instagram at Lynn Hepner. That is the @ symbol LYNHEPNER. See the link in the podcast description. Now on to our conversation. Well, Lynn, thank you for joining me again for your third podcast episode.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And it's been about 2 years since we last did a podcast together. What has changed in your life in that time period?
Well, I was rocking along pretty good for a while, and then 2023 came. I had a total knee replacement on a right knee, and the physical therapy was going along pretty well. And then all of a sudden I visited a restaurant, which isn't the cause of the problem, but on the way home, I had terrible pains in my stomach that lasted for a couple of days. And finally, I tried to tough it out and finally went to the walk-in clinic, and they said it was gas and gave me some gas X and stuff. And that didn't work. And my daughter, who's a PA, said, "Do you have your gallbladder?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "That's what it is." Well, sure enough, I went to the emergency room, and they, like, without hesitation, took me straight to emergency room or surgery and removed gangrenous gallbladder. Wow. So that threw off the physical therapy, and they had to do a couple of things, and finally scoped it. And I started physical therapy back. So that's been a process. It started in January, and I'm still fighting it a little bit right now. I lost my dad in March, and so there's been some struggling, but still, pushing on.
Yeah. So there are three main things. So you had knee surgery, you had the gallbladder issue.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And, sadly, your father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot in that short period of time.
Right. Yeah, that was all by April.
Wow. As far as having a PA in your family, I guess that came in handy.
Right. Yeah. She's like the little guardian angel. She's always checking, and you can always tell, she's gonna analyze everything to the nth degree, and she's always right. So I just always listen to her.
Well, it's good that you did. And so was that gallbladder issue related to anything in particular, if you don't mind?
I honestly can't tell you. I've kind of done some research and stuff, but there's nothing I could figure out. I guess it just happens. And, having had it and mentioned it to people, you'll find out there's probably more than I thought, that have had it also. Younger, older, some of them in their teens had them removed. So, it's something that I had never thought about, and it seems more prevalent than I ever believed.
And that's the thing about seeing your doctor regularly, which I know a lot of people don't like going to their annual exams and all that, but it's really important to see your doctor regularly.
Right. Yep. You got to take care of it. So
in that time, you had the knee surgery and you've been doing physical therapy. So you're back to that now, correct? The gallbladder surgery.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I couldn't do anything. After the gallbladder, they had a drain in, and you couldn't lift anything over 10 pounds and this and that. So the physical therapy said, just wait till you can, perform, physical therapy again. And so that was about a month of inactivity. Well, during that time, the knee tightened up, and we kind of lost that window that you have in physical therapy to get, go back on. So then it became, a struggle by degrees to get back.
Okay, so now your knee is kind of back to maybe almost 100% or where you were before the surgery?
I would not say 100%, but as time goes on, and just life is making me move it and basically become you know more dependent on it, and it's not quite 100% where it was, and that no fault of the surgeons. They did an amazing job. It's just I got behind, and now I'm just catching up. But like I said, just moving around and being active is being as much physical therapy as the actual visits. That you can't just visit and do the physical therapy. You have to do it every day or frequently to actually make it work.
Yeah, and so what does your training schedule look like on a typical day now?
Well, during the summer when we're not in schools, I still teach and coach full time. During the summer when I'm not at school, I take a leisurely workout about 7 in the morning, and I usually go 6 days a week. Kind of when I can do legs, and the leg days turned into bicycle and just movement exercise and calf raises. But do a leg day and then a pushing day, like for upper body, shoulders, triceps, pecs, and then a pulling day, which is like chin ups, pull ups, rowing, stuff like that. So, and then repeat. That's a typical week, maybe hour and a half. It kind of depends. I
Yeah,
believe a 20-minute workout's better than a 0-minute workout. So sometimes, your time constraints are different.
yeah.
Um, in the During the school year, when I'm at school by 7, and usually don't get home till 7:30, then really the only time to lift and work out is I have set my alarm for 3:30. The gym opens at 4. I get there and do about a 45-minute abbreviated workout, do a lot of like supersets and stuff like that, and about a 45-minute workout 2 days a week. And then on the weekends I try to have what I have, a normal like an hour and a half workout.
Okay, so can you remind listeners who may not have listened to the prior episodes how you got started working out in this phase of your life?
Well, I've always lifted. I mean, I remember going to what they call a drugstore when I was growing up, and they had magazines, and there was this one, bodybuilder turned out to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm going, I've in no way think that I'm ever going to be able to create that, but I realized that one could lift weights and basically sculpt, in a way,
Yeah,
your body. So that started like 12, 13 years old. And I've always done some sort of lifting, played college football. And so, after sports are over, one has a tendency to, I've always said, if you want to gain weight as a young man, just play your last sporting event and you will right after that. And so that happened. And I gained a lot of weight. And then about 2014, I realized enough is enough, and let's do something positive and get this weight off. And so that kind of started a journey where I went from like 335, 350, kind of depends on, I don't know, I wasn't encouraged enough to get on the scale very often, and
yeah.
lost about 120 some pounds.
Mhm.
And now I'm around like 225 is my ideal weight. I'm 6'3".
Yeah, that sounds healthy for you. Now, you did have the weight loss surgery. So would you still advocate for that now that time has passed? A little more time has passed since
I
we spoke.
I honestly think it was, it was a lifestyle change that was necessary. And I remember going in because the people that did it, they have a psychological eval first. And they said, "What do you want to do this for?" And I said, "Because I want a non-negotiable way to make sure I don't ever overeat." You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've been successful in just about everything I've done, but that just wasn't working. And so I feel like that's a constraint that was put on me dietarily wise. And then they have like support groups to go along with it to help you with your lifestyle change. So I absolutely think that was the defining difference, because, I always felt like I lifted, there was muscles there. If I could just kind of melt that fat away, which by the way, it doesn't work like that. But
Yeah.
it that was my idea. And I definitely, I think it was, if done with the right, the right organization and with the right support, you got to have support, but family, it could be, life changing.
Yeah, and I actually have spoken with people who have had weight loss surgery a little bit more recently, and it was interesting hearing how it can be a bit different for everyone, and it does really kind of put a restraint on how much you can eat. So it's kind of like some other things in life where, say, you have like a spending problem, you leave your cards at home or something like that.
Right.
Sometimes you have to go that far as to just not have the ability to do something anymore.
Right. And again, had my family not been supportive, you know, I don't know that it would have been as successful. I'm not saying it can't be, but you know, don't ever let anybody tell you it's the easy way out, because it takes a whole new set of disciplinary issues to implement and then maintain. Because I know people that have, for some reason, have gained all the weight back and more. And so it's not magic, and it has to be, it has to be done correctly.
Yeah, I think maybe if they have enough willpower to, maybe keep eating, then it doesn't matter if they feel pain or, like I said, with some people I've spoken with recently, it's like a different level of, it's not always exactly the same. Like some people feel like an intense pain when they eat a certain amount. Maybe
Mhm.
not everyone does, and that's how they
Right.
kind of overcome that and fall back into old habits.
Yeah. In my situation, if you eat too much, it comes right back up. And that's not a 20 minutes of your life that you want to endure.
So it's like it's it comes up in like violently or
Well, okay. So imagine, a highlighter, like a marker, right?
hmm
That's the size of your stomach. Okay.
hmm
And so imagine putting, like, if, just wolfing down a hamburger, and, if you eat too fast and if you eat too much, then it has nowhere to go but back up.
yeah.
And that process, it can be slow. It's not quick and violent. It's slow and painful, because if it doesn't all come up, and it's got to, digest. So like 20 minutes, it's kind of got to find its own way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so part might, but it's hard to describe unless you've been through it. But you know, the best thing is listen to them and don't let it happen. Take small bites, eat slow, be the last one done. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
And then eat the right food. So, I mean, we could spend a long time just on that, and how to implement it. But that
Yeah.
might be another, or we might want to get the people that
Yeah, to
do it
get
on
involved.
here, right?
So when we spoke on the phone recently, you mentioned that you train at 4 a.m. and you have like a Quest bar before you
Oh yeah.
train, and then you have
Mhm.
small meals during the day.
Right.
So can you kind of like go over that just real quick, how you
Okay.
feel and refuel from a workout?
Okay. So yeah, like I said, on the way to the gym, I have a Quest bar and coffee, and then during the morning, I might have like some eggs, cheese. The entire diet is pretty much keto, I guess you could say. The carbs that you have are leafy, non-starchy carbs. So a salad, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, stuff like that, green beans. Lunch, like I said, turkey, and I do eat bread sometimes, a sandwich, low carb. Like they have a lot of low carb bread and tortilla wraps and stuff like that. So I've kind of, morphed into doing that. The afternoon, probably another protein bar or a protein drink. And then night process is eat 3 bites of protein and 1 bite of non-starchy vegetable until you're full.
Yeah.
That's just repeat until you're full. And then night, before bed, some protein. And then I kind of got to where around midnight, I had another protein in there after like a heavy lifting day. So it's like I said, and it's no miracle or no mystery. I mean, eating small meals, bodybuilders have been doing that forever.
Yeah.
Uh, and just kind of spaced out.
And your protein intake throughout the day and even around, you said 12 a.m., I think you said,
Mhm,
that's just to help you
mhm.
recover from
Right,
your training.
right. I know. I honestly don't track it to know exactly how much, but the ideal would probably a gram of protein per body weight, or ideal body weight might be a little less. And I don't think I ever get that. I'd have to track it and be a little bit more diligent, but that's kind of the idea. Go
Do you
ahead.
track kind of based on your results? Do you do when you're satisfied with your appearance and your
Yeah,
physical ability?
right. I used to weigh twice a day, and now it's like once a day. And I know weight isn't, there's a lot more to it, body fat and stuff like that. I'll do that every once in a while. I used to, back before COVID, they had a place here in Oklahoma City that you could do the gold standards where they put you in water and the skin full caliper, body fat. That's more what I'm interested in, is
Yeah.
like a low body fat. Nowadays they have I don't know how accurate they are. I'm not saying they're not accurate. Like an in-body scan that they have at the gyms, where you stand on it and hold I just don't know, but
It's
it
like
does give you
electrical.
yes, it gives you a baseline that you can go on, and so I would say, appearance mirror is a good, thing to go on. But also, like when I weigh, if I start gaining a weight or two, pound or two, then I'll check and see like what is it, and try to modify. And there's been times when I'll look up and I'll have lost 10 pounds, like I'll lose a pound a day. And so, sometimes you got to, watch it. I don't want to get too light. And so, or lose muscle mass. So sometimes it's going the other way.
So, as far as your nutrition that you just explained, did you learn that in the classes after your weight loss surgery or from being a
Yes.
coach?
No, it was from the weight loss surgery. We had classes before on nutrition. Now, I will say this: I do take there's bariatric vitamins. I take 3 a day in the morning, because nutrition wise, they believe that you can't get all your nutrition from your food. I know that kind of flies in the face of some people that say you can, but with a 6-ounce stomach, it's kind of hard to do. So, and I don't know that a multiple vitamin for somebody that's 67 isn't a good idea for
Yeah.
everybody. But I do that. Then I take some creatine before a lift, and then there's some, like beetroot, stuff like that I also take, but not. I don't spend like billions of dollars on supplements. They're pretty standard.
Yeah, even for, it doesn't matter your age group, there are some elite coaches that still have their athletes take supplements because
Right.
the amount of output, you know,
Yes. Yes.
they're training so hard, they need to ensure that
Yep.
they get those nutrients.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. The last time we talked, you were kind of playing around with influencer workouts. How's that been going for you?
I think I'm kind of like shy. I mean, I do put stuff out there. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I don't know what. I Sometimes I just want to video myself and see the form. You know what I'm saying? And then I get, like, okay, well, I'll just put it on Instagram or something. So, if you were asking me how the influencer parts go, it's probably not great. But like I say, every once in a while I'll put, I do have a little tripod. I'm one of those guys in the gym with a tripod, and every once in a while I'll video it and put it out there. So, I mean, there's some out there, uh, but like I say, it's just kind of novel. Sometimes I'll think, wow, this is a pretty good workout. I'll just do this last set and watch it and see if my form's good or whatever. So that's
Yeah.
kind of, it's not the focus of the day.
Yeah, that makes sense to see your form. Some people don't understand that because, I mean, you can't see yourself 360 all the time when you're training. And if
Mhm.
you're a trainer or a coach like yourself, you know how important form is. And sometimes if you're training by yourself, well, you kind of need to see if your form
Yep.
is good.
Right. Well, and sometimes I'll be a workout and like I just won't watch in the mirror. I'll have focused or maybe even close my eyes when it gets hard and and those last reps and stuff. So you kind of don't want to just stick your head in the sand and do bad form. And for one reason, it may not be as efficient. Another reason, it could be a injury. And like later in life, you got to be careful and not hurt yourself. So the warm ups need to be longer, and the form needs to be correct, or else you'll find out your back hurts or your shoulder hurts or something that didn't used to.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That actually happened to me. I did about 8 years of bodybuilding, and then
Hmm.
10 years later, I go to the doctor and she says I have an arthritic hip from wearing
Mm.
gear. And then I also
Hmm.
had a trap problem and all this crazy stuff. Because you think, you just overemphasize some exercises when you focus on maybe aesthetics, which a lot of people start with. And
Right.
not to go off track. Um, yeah, I think you could be an influencer. Have you seen Bruce and Jan on Instagram, a
Yes, I
British
have.
couple?
Yeah, the British couple. Yes, yes, and from the looks of it, their gym is fairly small home gym, but they are cranking out some reps and some good looking stuff. So, and I'm not sure their age, but we can't be that far apart.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Watching people like them is, I think, far more inspiring than the typical young fitness
Mm-hmm.
influencer, because that's not really impressive, not to downplay their work, but I mean,
Hmm.
it's not odd and it's not going above and beyond to gain that look when you're young. You're kind of
Right.
conditioned that way.
One thing I've noticed, I'm pretty bad about this. I'm susceptible. Like I watch a lot of, on TikTok or whatever. And if I see one, I'm apt to like start doing that. I'm pretty, ADHD, I guess. Once I see one, I'll try it. And I don't know if that's good or not, but, I think you got to be careful. You can't just do every single thing you see that's new. But some of these they're coming up with scientifically or whatever, but some of this stuff is there's a lot out there, and of course there's a lot not good, but I think it's a valuable tool that you can check and see, hey, I might be able to do it better by doing it this way that this guy or gal says. So
Yeah,
it's just something else you can access.
I definitely believe that because they have physical therapists now and gymnastics coaches, and they show step by
Yep.
step. But some of
Hmm.
them aren't smart enough to put what is beginner, what is intermediate.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sometimes you can just test yourself and see, oh, I thought I was fit, but I can't do this simple beginner test
Right.
so
Right.
not always a bad idea.
Well, and I'll catch myself at the gym, and there'll be somebody doing form that I think is wrong, and the coach in me wants to go change it, but I'm not that guy. I'm not going up and hey, this is the way you should do it, and blah blah blah. I just let them be them. If they're doing partial reps, maybe that's in their plan or whatever. So I catch myself wanting to as the coach in me, but I don't.
Yeah, that's understandable. So you're such an inspiring figure, in my opinion. You're right there with Bruce and
Well, thank
Jan.
you.
And
Well, thank you.
you're welcome. And especially how you maintain this balance and you keep going despite what you've been through recently and over the years, and you found ways to reinvigorate your training. So, do you have any final motivational words you would like to leave with listeners?
Well, the term motivation, I think that's what gets you there. Whatever it is that motivates you to finally like pull the trigger and go. You know what I'm saying? But I think eventually the consistency, the dedication, the consistency will keep you going. You know what I'm saying? Because I think motivation wears off, but the consistency, whatever it takes, I, I think one thing, it's habit. You know what I'm saying? Like missing a day right now, I would rather not miss a day at all. And so I think once you get in a habit of being consistent, then it just kind of goes against your nature to ever miss. And I guess there's a little body, what is it?
Morphia?
Dysphoria. Yeah. Dysmorphia, where, I don't want to scare people, but like you think you're never, you're not, you're not, and then people, make comments and you go, oh, I didn't think that, so I think something within you, drives you, and like it's just being consistent after a while. I think I heard Arnold say one time, and like I said, I'm not even close to him, but he said I had breakfast this morning. I'm gonna have breakfast every morning, and I
Yeah.
think that's kind of the deal. Like I'm gonna lift or work out every morning, or every day, sometimes, at some point. So,
Yeah.
it's just part of the day.
I think that's actually one of his best quotes because a lot of people think exercise is for a specific personality type or, you have to be a fitness freak, but it's self-care. It's just regular
Right.
maintenance. And
Yep.
You're not always going to be in the mood, but
Right.
you know that it improves your mood. And you know,
Yeah.
technically
Yep.
it's doing so many things for your body to keep it in balance. Yeah, that's a great quote.
Yeah. Like I've always said, 20-minute workout's better than no minute workout. So go in and get your blood going and get something going. And, when you walk out, you'll know. And if it's 4 a.m, you don't do anything the rest of the day, you've at least done that.
Yeah, something's always better than nothing.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Lynn, thank you for joining me again for another podcast episode, and maybe we could do one in the future.
Sure. Sounds good.
That's it for this episode. I hope this information has been inspiring and helpful. Please tune in for a future episode on lifelong fitness, all around wellness, and prosperity. Thank you for listening, and stay strong and well.